Hey, what's up? John Charette here. And today I'm gonna build an AMD Ryzen 7950X inside of Asus ProArt B650 motherboard inside this Fractal North case. And then last but not least, I'm throwing in an Asus ROG Strix 4090. Yes, it does fit. Stay tuned and follow along while I also install this 280mm Arctic Freezer 2 on the side with a mesh vent exhausting the heat. Stay tuned. All right, let's start by getting the motherboard in place and slapping the CPU in. If you haven't seen my review on this B650 motherboard, please check it out here. I do give you the reason why I chose it over the X670E. Yeah, beautiful board, really nice board. I already had this CPU in this motherboard to test it, just to make sure it worked. The first Ryzen 7950X I got was DOA. Okay, attempt number one, fail. This should be pretty easy. Ta-da. Man, it's so sketchy. Ta-da. And we're in. Okay, I think I'm gonna put this aside now. Let's get the Fractal North case out of its box, get it all ready so that I can slap this board in, and then we'll get the AOI after that. All in one, AOI, all in AIO. Bam. All right. Look at this. I love this wood grain. I mean, everybody, I decided to go with the mesh side versus the glass because I'm gonna put the all-in-one 280mm here blowing out, which before this I'd never seen done before. Look at the gold on top, all the buttons. It's gonna go really well with this ProArt build. Ah, very excited. Top's off. Okay. There we go. The trick is going to be getting the 4090 Strix in there. It looks like the standoffs are already there, and I might be able to just slap the board in. Let's see. Oh, one last step. Ta-da. And it's in. That easy. Oh, it looks so good. Yeah. Okay, this is the side bracket that's going to mount here-ish. Here-ish, I think it slides in, something like that. And we'll get the AO on there. We just need to slide it. We'll probably have to put it into the top position so that it's right over top of the CPU. And there's enough room, yeah, for the GPU to fit in there. Okay, cool. Put that on later. I'm looking for motherboard standoff. Very interesting. Oh, maybe there's some. Ha! Way inside. You could see it probably before I could. Whew. Oh. The front comes off. Cool. Okay. Let's see if we get some screws in here. So when I did my Fantech P500A case, they gave me this lovely box with a bunch of screws in it. It was, I still use it to this day. So kudos to Fantechs versus just a little baggie that you absolutely lose everything in it the second you're done your build. Okay, motherboard is in, CPU is in. It already has 240 mil fans sucking air in. I picked up a few extra matching 140 mil fans to go in the top here and then blow air out the top. Probably get these in now just to make sure they fit. Okay, you can see two fans on top. Let's spin it around so you can see. Look at all the screws. Yeah, lots of room, lots of clearance here. Like I say, it fits two 140s on top, but just not enough room for a rad. It'll hit the motherboard here with the heatsink. So that should be a-okay.
A few moments later.
All right, next part is installing the all-in-one cooler, which I believe to be, in any build, the most challenging part because it's attached to the tubes and then there's fans. With this Arctic Freezer 2 280 mil that I have chosen, the idea is that I will put it, like I mentioned, into this side bracket blowing air out. So the heat that comes off the CPU, it just gets pushed right out of the case. It's great. Now to fit properly, I need to get the two 120 mil fans in this housing with the rad below it. Trying to figure out how to do all this in one. Once I put this in, I should be able to take it out to access RAM. I still need to do all the cabling, right? I have disconnected the fans from the rad itself. Here, let me get rid of the case and I'm going to connect that together. Okay. You can stay out of the way. Now this may be backwards. So how this is set up right now is it's blowing air through it. I think the way this is going to have to work is I'm going to have to take the fans, put them on the other side like this, pulling air through the rad and out the case. It's actually not my ideal way. I always like the idea of fans blowing air through the rad versus sucking through the rad.
It's Megamate. She's gone from suck to blow.
Yeah, but I think that's the only way it's gonna fit in this case. This is the case. Whew, which way are the tubes going to go? Okay, so if the case, it's gonna be in like this. We know that this active fan here points up. Oh, this is a brain buster. It's going to be like this. Ooh, it's quite the turn. What about like this? Yeah, I think that's going to be it there. Ooh, like that. My other options are like this. It could work better. I do want to make sure, if you're looking at it this way, that I want to have room in the back side because the GPU is going to go there and it's a monster GPU to begin with. So I can twist and spin that as much as I want later. Gosh. This is going like this. And the fans will sit inside. Gosh, darn it. Disconnect the fan and the other fan.
You pull me in like gravity, you do, changing the way that my body moves, it's true.
I was struggling finding, there's holes here, right in here, and I had to turn the fans so they had a good spot that they could go. So let's put a couple screws. Ta-da! In the housing. That should now slide, click, click in, and then I can mount my tubes. Hopefully there's enough clearance, but we'll figure that out. Thank you to everybody on Reddit. I was in the Fractal subreddit who recommended this all-in-one cooler, the Arctic Freezer 2 280 mil. A couple people had already tried it out and say it fits, so it saved me the effort of, buying a $200 cooler and then finding out later that it doesn't fit. So thank you. All right, let's grab the case again. Okay, I already put in there's like these riser metal, they're just like little spacers. over top of each of the screws. The idea is then they have two of these brackets that fit on top.
Without the moon, there'd be no way. Without the stars, there'd be no space. When I got you by my side.
Here's the cover for the PCI Express 5 M.2 slot. I do have to remember to remove that sticky tape at the bottom. I actually have my M.2 in the system that I've been benchmarking, the Strix 4090. I'll have a separate review here for that 4090 Strix. I'm going to keep that. That's my 12900KS system. I'll probably keep it as a benchmarking system. And so I'll have to take the 4090 out of it and put it into here soon. And I also do the same with my M.2. I literally just transfer from computer to computer. Surprisingly, it works really well. I went from my AMD X570 chipset to the new Intel Z690 in that one, and it was fine. No issues at all. So we'll see what happens when I switch back to the new AMD chipset. See if Windows 11 can magically just handle that. So I'm gonna put the RAM in next. So I have upgraded to, this is DDR5 6000 megahertz, which is the same as what I'm using in my other system. It seems to be a nice kind of ballpark, good price point speed DDR5 at this time. But I did get 64 gigs. This is my main system. I use it a lot for video editing. And so I think that was a great little upgrade for this build. Ta-da. Let's dry fit this. Highly recommend doing that. Oh, well, isn't that fun? I don't know if you can see that. It doesn't, what? The radiator doesn't fit inside. Let me see if I can work some magic here. Right after I said people told me this would fit. Okay. Stuff those cables in. Sure. Yeah, it fit. I just had to almost put the back in first, which is kind of counterintuitive when you have to slide these two pieces in. Okay, so that is in. Now, I mean, I still haven't really fit this in. Whew. Well, that's fun. Okay, I should have connected this first. Makes sense. Okay. Let's dry fit this guy. So scary. I'm going to dry fit it. There is no thermal paste. I haven't taken the plastic off the heatsink. I just want something to hold it in place to make sure this even fits. It's in there enough. Back in first. Tubes through. Cabling And yeah. Okay. Well, it's in, but it's not the best. You can see here in this shot, you can definitely, if the GPU is going to go the whole way, it's going to push on that. Now, is that the end of the world? I say this is the 4070 Ti, which is significantly shorter. I have a hard time getting it in even. Oh my gosh, this should be fun. Ha! I have no idea how people did this. Okay. Cool. Wonder if I need to get the card in first before yelling one to go in first. First, let's take this out. Oh yeah, that helped big time. Okay, the back side of this card, like I said, I'm dry fitting everything here. Essentially the 4090 is a tiny little bit thicker this way and definitely longer. But because I have clearance this way, that's no issue. I just want to see what these tubes and how they're touching the back plate once. I wonder if I had it this way, would it make a difference? Nah, let's do it this way. Okay, that's in. Those tubes are in. There we go, that's in, good. Whew. So they do touch, you can see here in the top angle, they do touch the back plate a little bit. I'm not too worried. They're braided cables. Like I say, they're designed to be, take a little bit of abuse. I think that's totally fine. I mean, I have zero access and I can't get the M.2 drive in. I literally have to do all of my power cabling before I put this in. So maybe I'm going to do the all-in-one last. And this is why you drive it. Wow, something to note, this Asus motherboard, most all the Asus motherboards have a new eject button for the main PCI Express slot for your GPU. I don't see one on this board, so that's very interesting. I wonder if that's something I noted in my comparison to the X670 version of this motherboard to see if it has it, because it is a very nice feature, which I am missing right now. Okay, out. Next thing, maybe I'm gonna get the power supply in. I'll route a few cables. Next, I want to grab the 4090, make sure I can dry fit it in. So yeah, be right back. Hey, what's up? I'm back. Okay, it's been a couple days. The idea was that I was gonna do some cabling and kind of prep the case a little more. So I did that. I mean, I installed the power supply. It's in Corsair RM 1000X. I enjoyed it. I have that in my other system. It's a really nice power supply. I'm very happy with it. It can support pretty much any CPU and GPU right now. So I ran into concern that one, I didn't have a dedicated 12 volt cable for the power supply. If you haven't seen my video, I'll post it up here. Just highly recommend getting one. I tried to get the Corsair one that I have to match with the Corsair. and I couldn't find it in stock. I ended up grabbing another one off Amazon. I'll put a link down below. I hope it works well. It's braided. I almost need to get, I actually have some combs here that maybe I'll use on that. I hadn't considered that. But I also picked up some extensions here, just so it looks nice. I mean, it's 30 bucks for your build, in case of this black on black build. And it just adds so much nice kind of cleanliness to it. One point of interest on this case, the power up here for the CPU was super tight to get to. I did have to take out one of these 140 mils and then kind of resit it together. Here, I'll show you the back. There we go. So there's your power supply. Everything's coming in here quite nice. I try to just tie it all in. Power to the CPU goes here. There's a nice little cover, kind of try to keep it there. What's nice is this case does have a built-in WPM fan controller. It's kind of like a 4-in-1 deal, which is great. So I literally have 4 140s, 2 in the front, 2 in the top, that I've plugged into here, and that way it's only one spot on the motherboard. So that's cool. I thought that was a nice little touch that I didn't expect. Last thing I ordered for parts was, if you didn't see, I'm dying, my video for this motherboard, the B650 version of this ProArt motherboard does not come with a wireless controller. It was a shock to me as well, but they do cut corners here and there. Of course, if you go to the X670E, you do get a wireless controller. So, but this board does have a nice spot specifically for like an M.2 wireless controller. So I bought one for 30 bucks on Amazon. Same thing, I'll throw a link down below. But two problems. One, it didn't come with any antennas or the cables to go from the actual card to the antenna. I didn't realize that was a separate purchase, so please beware. And then I also made another mistake. I didn't realize that there are two different types of connectors, wireless connectors. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but I'll put a screenshot and I'll get some B-roll here to show you the difference in size. I ordered the bigger ones and they wouldn't connect, and I kept pushing and pushing and pushing. I was like, oh my gosh. Then I realized, oh, I ordered the wrong connector. So a few Amazon orders later, I finally have the card in. You can see the wires connected. I installed it into a bracket. These are just standard, your standard brackets in the back. It happens to be that for Fractal, the size is really nice. I just had to pretty much bend open to the spots so that I could get the kind of connector through it. And then the idea is that you can screw on your antennas on the back. So yeah, pretty excited there. That was a good find. But yeah, so now we have a couple things. I do need to grab the M.2 hard card out of my system, and then we'll install that. Once I get that installed, it's time for the 4090. So give me a second, I'll grab that M.2. All right, this is, I'm using a Samsung 980 Pro 2 terabyte. It's literally been the same M.2 hard drive I've been using for a couple of years now. I just keep moving it from system to system, and it seems to work really well. Okay, slap that in. Done. The cover for it, and it does have that blue sticky thing in the back, so we will remove that.
Can you hear the sound?
Great. Okay, next step is the GPU. I realized once I started to put the all-in-one cooler in, I just don't have room. So, okay, 4090 Strix. Let's get you out of the way. Wow, that was definitely easier than I thought. And I have, let me see if I can get measuring tape here. I actually have 3/4 of an inch at the end of room. So, I mean, I think, I'll confirm on the website, but I'm pretty sure this is not supposed to fit. Well, I feel like an idiot. I put the wrong GPU in. This is actually the 4070 Ti, hence why I said there's 3/4 of an inch extra space. So, so remember I said the Strix cards look identical? Oh yeah, they do. So, this is the 4090. So let me pull this guy off again and rejig them and make sure it still works. Gosh, I knew that was too easy. Confirming. 4090 Strix. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, now, is there any room at the end? No, it's literally maybe 2 millimeters at the end of space. So, let's put this back in.
One touch and we're igniting, setting fire to it all. You know these flames ain't going out. This building is.
All right, same as before. I mean, now we've confirmed the 4070 Ti, Strix, and the 4090 fit very well. Oh, fun, this happens. So, I mean, let me put this back together and then I get some nice B-roll and then we will talk about the whole thing. So here it is, here's some B-roll of the completed build. I am so impressed. The Fractal North case is beautiful. I mean, it is. I mean, all the accents, the gold, the wood, it really has a neat touch to it, and it was a pretty easy install. If you've been following along this long, thank you for watching through all of my fun and interesting mistakes. As I said, the all-in-one install, especially inside that bracket, was definitely the most challenging with connecting all the fans. But it's done. It is working. Would I recommend the the Arctic Freezer 2 280mm for Ryzen 7950X? It's okay. I mean, when the PC spins up, when it needs load, it gets pretty loud with even with those 140, the 4 140s, and plus the all-in-one, it sounds a bit like a jet engine, and still, when I'm running it in something like Cinebench, it can't prevent it from capping out at 95 degrees Celsius, which is the thermal limit on the CPU. So is it enough to handle a monster CPU like that? Not really. Will it be okay? Sure, it'll be fine. It was similar to when I had, I was using, not this case, I had a Lanley Galahad 240mm AIO that I was using on the Intel 12900KS. It just wasn't enough. When I then upgraded it to the EK Elite 360mm all-in-one, it could handle Cinebench all day long and it wouldn't hit the throttle limit. But unfortunately, you cannot fit a 360mm RAD inside the Fractal North case, so this was the best solution that I could find, and I mean, it will work. Other than that, there is a slight buzzing sound with the case that I can't seem to troubleshoot. As the fans spin up, they kind of, as it gets louder, this little bzzz kind of happens for a split second. I'll see if I have a video here to show it. I've disabled all of the fans to try and figure out which fan is it that's rubbing, and it doesn't seem to make a difference. I have since removed the Strix 4090 and went back to the Strix 4070 Ti, and it seems better, so I'm not sure if the 4090 was so tight in there that it was a little bit of vibration. Anyway, I'll live with it for now. So yeah, overall, I am super happy with this build. Thanks for following me along. My plan is to sell the Strix 4090 and go pick up the new ProArt 4070 Ti, maybe do a side-by-side comparison with the Strix 4070 Ti and the ProArt 4070 Ti. So yeah, stay tuned for more builds, more reviews. Thank you. See you next time.